Here's a compelling 600-word introduction for your YouTube video. Imagine this. You're in a room full of people, and suddenly, you sense a shift. Someone you once trusted, someone who always seemed friendly, now looks at you differently. Their smile is forced, their words careful. It's as if they know something has changed. But it's not about them. It's about you. You've seen through them. You've figured them out. And now they know that you know. Evil people operate in the shadows. They manipulate, deceive, and control, always believing they are a step ahead of everyone else. But what happens when their carefully crafted mask starts to crack? What happens when they realize that their secrets, their lies, their hidden motives are no longer invisible? That's when the real game begins. You might think that when confronted with the truth, they'd back down, apologize, or change their ways. But that's not how this works. Instead, they shift gears, becoming even more calculating, more dangerous, more desperate. They begin to pull out every trick they have to regain control. And if you're not prepared for what's coming next, you might find yourself caught in their web before you even realize it. Let's be clear, this isn't about everyday misunderstandings or minor disagreements. This is about people who deliberately choose manipulation over honesty, control over respect, and deception over truth. These individuals thrive on power, and when they feel it slipping away, they don't let go without a fight. You may have already encountered someone like this in your life. A boss who subtly undermines your confidence, a friend who always twists the truth in their favor, a partner who makes you question your own reality. At first, everything seemed fine. Maybe they were charming, supportive, even inspiring. But over time, small things didn't add up. You started noticing the inconsistencies, the patterns, the carefully chosen words meant to manipulate rather than communicate. And then one day, it clicked. You saw it. You saw them for who they really are. That's the moment everything changes. At first, they might pretend nothing is wrong. They might act as if they don't notice your shift in behavior. But don't be fooled. Inside, they are panicking. They are calculating their next move. And if you pay close attention, you'll see it happen right before your eyes. Maybe they suddenly become overly nice, showering you with praise and attention, hoping to regain your trust. Maybe they start spreading subtle rumors about you, planting seeds of doubt in others before you can expose them. Or perhaps they go silent, watching, waiting, planning their next move with precision. Whatever their response, one thing is certain: the moment they know that you know, the game changes. And if you're not prepared, you might find yourself doubting what you saw, questioning your instincts, and second-guessing the truth that was once so clear. But here's the good news. You don't have to fall for it. You don't have to play their game. In this video, we're going to break down the 7 things evil people do when they know that you know. These are the patterns, the behaviors, the warning signs that reveal exactly how they operate. By understanding them, you can protect yourself, stay one step ahead, and take back control. So, are you ready to see the truth for what it is? Are you ready to uncover the tactics, the mind games, and the strategies they use to manipulate those around them? Because once you recognize these 7 things, you'll never see them the same way again. Let's dive in. This introduction creates suspense, keeps the audience engaged, and naturally sets up the main topic while maintaining a human, conversational tone. Let me know if you want any refinements. There's something unsettling about that moment when you see someone's true nature. It's not just about their actions, it's the realization that they were never who you thought they were. And now, as they look at you, something shifts in their expression. It's subtle, maybe just a flicker of the eyes or a pause in their words, but you feel it. They know. They know you figured them out. At first, you might try to ignore it, convincing yourself that you were imagining things. Maybe it was just a misunderstanding. Maybe they didn't mean to lie, manipulate, or twist the situation in their favor. But deep down, a part of you knows the truth, and that's when the real test begins, because now every interaction with them feels different. The air is heavier, the words feel rehearsed, and suddenly you notice things you hadn't paid attention to before. They start watching you more closely, studying your reactions, gauging how much you truly understand. You catch them testing you, dropping little comments to see if you'll react differently than before. It's as if they are trying to regain control, trying to figure out if they can still manipulate the situation. But you don't play along like you used to, and they notice. That's when the shift happens. For some, this change comes in the form of fake kindness. Suddenly, they are overly friendly, acting as if nothing is wrong. They compliment you more, offer you favors, and try to remind you of all the good times. It's an act, a distraction, a way to make you doubt yourself. They hope that by being overly nice, you'll start questioning whether you ever saw the truth in the first place. Maybe you misjudged them. Maybe you were wrong. But others take a different approach. Instead of kindness, they go silent. The conversations that once flowed so easily now feel forced. They avoid eye contact. They give vague answers. They watch from a distance, waiting for the right moment to strike. The silence is a warning, a sign that they are calculating their next move. And if you pay attention, you'll feel the tension rising. Then there are those who go on the attack. They can't stand the thought of losing control, so they try to turn the tables. Maybe they start questioning your behavior, making you seem like the problem. Maybe they spread small, subtle rumors, planting seeds of doubt in the minds of those around you. They twist the story, making themselves the victim and you the villain. And if you aren't careful, you might find yourself defending something you never did, trying to prove a truth they are determined to bury. The worst part? Most people don't see it. To everyone else, they seem normal, charming, even. They play their roles so well that when you try to warn others, you're met with confusion, maybe even disbelief. "Are you sure?" they ask. That doesn't sound like them. And in that moment, you realize just how deep their manipulation goes. But you can't unsee the truth. You can't erase the moment you saw behind their mask. And now, as they stand before you, watching, waiting, you know that this is just the beginning. Because once an evil person knows that you know, they will do whatever it takes to regain the upper hand. The question is, are you ready for what happens next? Because this is where things get dangerous. The moment you see through them, everything changes. The way they speak, the way they act, even the way they look at you, it all shifts. But the most unsettling part isn't what they do next. It's the feeling that in some way, you are now part of their game. And whether you like it or not, they will do everything in their power to make sure they stay in control. At first, they test the waters, watching how much you really know. They might ask leading questions, subtly checking if you'll bring up what you've figured out. They might bring up old conversations, rephrasing past lies to see if you still believe them. It's all calculated. If they can make you hesitate, if they can make you second-guess yourself, they win. Because doubt is their strongest weapon. The moment you start wondering if you misunderstood, if you overreacted, they gain ground. But when that doesn't work, when they sense that you're not playing along, that's when the tactics shift. Maybe they try to turn others against you, planting seeds of doubt about your character. You notice people treating you differently, more distant, more hesitant. At first, you don't understand why. You start noticing things that weren't obvious before. The way people glance at you, the way conversations seem to stop the moment you enter a room. At first, you try to brush it off, convincing yourself it's just your imagination. But deep down, you know something has shifted, and then it becomes undeniable. Someone you once trusted starts acting distant. Another person who used to greet you warmly barely acknowledges you now. The realization hits you. This isn't a coincidence. This is intentional. The person you exposed has been working behind the scenes, twisting the narrative, turning people against you without you even realizing it. And the worst part, they do it so effortlessly, so convincingly, that most people don't even question it. They don't have to tell outright lies. They just plant small doubts, subtle suggestions, things that make others wonder if you're really as trustworthy as they once believed. You try to fight back, to explain, to tell your side of the story. But no matter what you say, it feels like you're talking to a wall. Every word you speak, they've already anticipated. Every move you make, they've already counted. And that's when you realize you're not just dealing with someone who lies, you're dealing with someone who plans, someone who manipulates, someone who knows exactly how to make you look like the problem while they sit back and play the victim. Then, just when you think you've seen it all, they escalate. Maybe they act like they're the ones who have been wronged, pretending to be hurt by your accusations. Maybe they act like they're the ones who have been wronged, pretending to be hurt by your accusations. Maybe they start telling people they're worried about you, making it seem like you're unstable, overly suspicious, even paranoid. And if you react, if you push back too hard, it only proves their point. Now, instead of questioning them, people start questioning you. The frustration builds, the isolation grows, and for the first time, you start to wonder if this is a battle you can even win. Because this isn't just about calling someone out for who they really are. This is about power, control, and the lengths some people will go to in order to keep it. And then it happens. The moment where everything reaches its breaking point. The tension that has been building for so long finally snaps, and then it happens. The moment where everything reaches its breaking point. The tension that has been building for so long finally snaps, and suddenly you're standing face to face with the person who started it all. There's no more pretending, no more subtle manipulation, just two people who know exactly what's going on. For a moment, neither of you speaks. The air is thick with unspoken words, a silent battle of who will make the first move. You expect them to lash out, to defend themselves, to throw another layer of lies over everything. But instead, they do something you didn't see coming. They smile. Not a nervous smile, not a guilty one, but the kind of smile that makes your stomach turn, calm, controlled, confident. And in that moment, you realize something chilling. They aren't afraid. They aren't scrambling to fix their image or cover their tracks. Because to them, the real game has just begun. That's when the second twist hits you, everything you thought you knew about. That's when the second twist hits you. Everything you thought you knew about their plan, about their tactics, was only part of the truth. You assumed they were reacting, scrambling to cover their tracks. But you were wrong. They weren't just trying to protect themselves. They had been setting this up for longer than you realized. And now, as they stand there with that unnerving smile, you feel it, the final piece of their plan falling into place. They speak, their voice calm and measured, as if this is just another conversation, nothing out of the ordinary. But every word they say is designed to make you doubt yourself. They act as though they've done nothing wrong, flipping the entire situation on its head. And the worst part, they do it so convincingly that, for a split second, even you start questioning what you saw, what you know. But then something shifts. Maybe it's the way they slip up ever so slightly, a hesitation in their voice that wasn't there before. Maybe it's the realization that no matter how well they've played their game, the truth still exists. And you have something they didn't account for, clarity, the ability to see them for who they really are. So you do something they weren't expecting. You stop fighting. You stop trying to prove yourself. Instead, you let them talk, let them spin their web. Because now you understand that the only power they have is the illusion of control. And once you stop playing their game, once you step out of the trap they set, their grip starts to weaken. And just like that, the mask begins to slip. The confidence in their voice falters. They see it now, that you aren't reacting the way they expected.